So it starts with me. I understand your question. Yes, no one was surprised. We certainly weren't surprised with the way that Joe Schoen handled this yesterday. He didn't create something out of nothing. He did what general managers generally do, which is give you nothing. If you really peek in and listen to the things he said, I think there are a couple of things in there that are of note. One of which I mentioned earlier during Jerry's update, which is he knows it's not a done deal and he's going to be the general manager at the end of the year. Now, if he really felt that way, you would hear that. He would sit there and he would talk about, next year. He actually said, God willing, if I'm standing here next year. So he knows that this is not a lock. Now, it was perceived when Brian Daboll was fired that Joe Schoen was staying and he was going to be the general manager and the coaching search was going to be him and everything else. And Ian O'Connor put out something saying, no, he's going to be evaluated. They just wanted someone to be there with a little bit of continuity for the rest of the year. But I can't imagine with the way things have gone and then this Abdul Carter thing, and he's making excuses for him being a young guy in New York City and blah, blah,
and
blah.
And he even showed up late for his press conference yesterday.
Yeah.
So I saw a bunch of people having a lot of fun at his expense and then tying that to the Abdul Carter situation. I mean, look, he's won 11 games. He's the GM that has won 11 games over the last 3 years.
Yeah. I mean,
11 games.
Is it 4 years or 3 years?
No, 3 years. They won 6-11 in 23.
Yeah, okay.
3-14.
Yeah.
And they're now 2-11.
Yeah.
That's 11 games over the last 3 years. And that's an impossible spot for him yesterday. He did it without sweating. I don't know how he did that. I mean, he's not a dummy. That's the thing. He knows. It's all about production. It's about wins. It's not about what you foresee as the future. It's unfortunately what the team and what the fan base is going through right now. As much as we may like him, and just like we like Joe Douglas, and when ownership starts seeing season ticket holders bitching and complaining, sponsorships bitching and complaining, more of the other team's fans in the building other than your fans, the reality is that it's over.
Yeah. When he says stuff like he was talking about, well, if you are a potential head coach candidate for the New York Giants and you look at this job as an attractive job, and he started going over some of the things that were on the roster, that I think was his way of defending himself, was that. He's like, all right, you got a young quarterback who has exceeded expectations, who was a rookie this year. You got a center coming back, 2 guards. You got your left tackle. You got a wide receiver that's going to come back that, had a historic rookie season. You got pass rushers. You got Brian Burns there. You got this. You got that. He's going into. We got a great running back.
That's all the positive stuff that he's done. But you can't. I guess that's deflecting away from the negative things that have gone on here. But I just keep saying at the end of all of this, the question is, how many games have you won?
Yeah, and he said, 2 wins this year. Not good enough. Starts with me. Not good enough. Starts with me.
You could talk about all this other stuff. It's a culture of losing.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, bingo. That's really what it is. So you could talk about how the roster is shaped and this and that and the positives, but if you're the general manager and you are running this ship and the record is what the record is, that's really all that you need to know.
If the Jets would have had either Baker Mayfield the second or third time around, or even if they had the balls to go up and draft Jaxson Dart, they'd be in such a great spot right now. They would be in such a great spot. I think this team, can it be the Patriots of this year if they hire the right coach?
The Giants, yeah.
Yeah, the Giants, if they could become the Patriots of this year. In other words.
Or the Bears of this year?
Yeah, I mean, because you have both teams had 2 young quarterbacks, and both teams brought in the right coach, obviously, for each team and each situation. And that's really what it's going to come down to. And then the question is that coach going to want to work with this general manager? I mean, it's all about collaboration. So is he hiring somebody that he's buddies with, or?
He's not hiring anybody. I mean, let's get real. He's not hiring anybody.
I would think that normally you would do exactly what the Jets did, but who knows?
Well, you don't do what the Jets. Well,
I mean, coach and GM.
Right, but they hired the coach first, then the GM. I don't always love that, but Because I feel like down the road, Darren Muji's going to be like, I never had a chance to hire my own guy if things aren't going right. Then all of a sudden there's more turmoil and this and that. But we'll see. But it's going to be somebody else. And, ownership made the decision, he said, to fire Brian Daboll when they did. Mike Kafka's saying that he was the one who fired Shane Bowen. Ownership's going to hire this next coach too. I mean, they just are.
That's what they're known for. But
yeah,
the other thing too, I go back to that whole Nikki, Nikki, and Sean Marash, about being fired coming off of the plane, in Denver. They were right.
Yeah,
they were right, 100% right. I mean, I don't. Did Nikki have it first? Did Sean have it first?
Who knows?
Did they know each other? Were they following each other? I don't know. But I think back to that Denver game and how that was reported that week. And those two got something from somewhere. Maybe they're getting it from the same person. I don't know. But that seemed to be very accurate about Brian Daboll being fired the moment they landed back from Denver.
Yeah, because it was one more week later.
It was.
And it happened.
It was another collapse in Chicago, right?
Yeah. So then it's what is the structure? Now, every guy's different. But we've said before that there's certain type of coach, someone that you need in this era, this time of Giants football. I mean, so when the Jets were hiring Muji and Aaron Glenn, I mean, we're talking about there's some players there, but it was like complete rubble. You're talking about no quarterback. You're talking about Garrett Wilson's there. They signed Sauce Gardner, and then they end up trading him. We're talking they are pouring the foundation in with the Jets. That's not necessarily the case because they've got one of the two giant pieces that you need with the Giants, and that is Jaxson Dart. And you have to make sure that you pair him with the right guy, because if you don't, you could be wasting him.
And then both the Bears and the Patriots this past offseason spent a lot of money on the right free agents. And the Bears shored up the center part of that line. They brought in Joe Tooney to be their starting center. Has been a part of Super Bowls with the Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. And he is now basically handling all the pass protections and things of that nature, taking some of that burden off of their young quarterback. They also have an intense head coach, as I was telling you. As we watch him take his shirt off in the locker room after the game, they beat the Eagles, and bam, he's going crazy, and that's exactly what the Bears needed. And then, of course, you have what you see up in New England. They spent a lot of money, the most money in free agency, on defense up there, and they've patched together a really nice group of wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs, and including that one, the guy shot out of a cannon, Travion Henderson.
But in this hiring cycle, do those guys exist again? And that I think the answer to that is no. I don't think that there's a consensus offensive guy that everybody would want who had an opening. I don't think that there's a guy in Mike Vrabel that everybody would want who took a year off, who had a team that was a number one seed in Tennessee, took into the playoffs and is intense and all of those things, and actually played for the organization. I mean, does that guy exist for the Giants? Like that? No. I mean, that guy, is there someone? I mean, Mike Vrabel was perfect for that organization. Ben Johnson was perfect for the Bears. In this hiring cycle, do those guys exist?
Well, there's going to be a guy, and there's going to be a guy on the Rams. It's going to be that guy. Chris Shula is going to be like everybody's first guy, I believe.
Now, he's a defensive coordinator.
He's a defensive coordinator, young guy, and he's from the Sean McVay tree. And the Sean McVay tree, those guys have all had success. Now, you could argue and say that, Zach Taylor's ran into some speed bumps. Kevin O'Connell's running into speed bumps now. But he's had a number of young guys that have coached with him that have gone on to become head coaches elsewhere. Brandon Staley was another guy. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But, he's probably the next guy on that list underneath Sean McVay. So he's the defense coordinator for the Rams. You're going to look at the Kubiaks. They're going to get some interviews, and then of course the Mike McCarthy's of the world, and anybody else who gets fired. So if it is at the end of the line for Mike Tomlin, if it's the end of the line for Zach Taylor, if it's the end of the line for, is there a surprise? Jonathan Gannon from the Arizona Cardinals. Is there a surprise firing that we don't know?
Mike Tomlin.
Well, I just said Mike Tomlin.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but those guys are all going to be in the mix. But do you think Mike Tomlin's going to want to come here and be with Joe Schoen as his GM?
No, of course not. Joe Schoen, I think we need to start operating. It would be a shock if Joe Schoen were still here, right? Do you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah, so I think we need to operate just saying that there's going to be a new general manager.
It was like a dead man walking.
I mean, there's another, right. It's just, there's going to be another general manager.
And I hate to say that because I hate talking about it. I know how hard it is to do what they're doing, and they finally get their quarterback. They finally got a future, and now we're all going to change everything.
Yeah, but it might end up being the greatest thing to happen to Jaxson Dart, getting paired with whoever it's going to be that takes him to the next level, or it could end up being the guy who stunts his growth. So this, I mean, it's always hyperbole if this is the biggest hire that they've ever had and this and that. I mean, this one, though, when you already have the quarterback in place, it is as big as it gets. I mean, this is like you got to make sure that whatever guy comes in here knows and has done this before, because you're handing him the keys to something that could be very, very special.
And depending on who that guy is, yeah, I think we're 90-10. Joe Schoen is gone. That's my sense. That's my feeling. That's because he's the next guy in the firing line for the fan base.
Yeah.
So the fan base wanted somebody fired, they fired Brian Daboll. Fan base wanted somebody else fired, they fired Shane Bowen. The fan base is going to want somebody else to be fired.
Well, they had their chance. I mean, it was 4 freaking years.
And it's going to be the GM. I mean, it's just the nature of the business. And these guys know it when they take these jobs, that if they don't get it right, it's going to be short term. And, 4 years is a long time in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a long time to have, one playoff appearance and then be completely irrelevant for the rest of your tenure.
True.
I mean, they had a great first year. We sat here, think they got the right guys, got the right coach of the year, and now look at that.
Yeah, but let's face it, Daniel Jones got hurt. They gave him the contract. He got hurt. They traded away Leonard Williams. They got something back for him, though. They ended up losing Saquon Barkley. They ended up losing Daniel Jones for nothing. Those guys went on to have really, at least Daniel Jones started a year great this year, and now he's hurt again. But Saquon Barkley had a career year with the Eagles and won a Super Bowl. And that's on his resume. And they got nothing for those players, maybe a compensatory pick.
Let's go to Fernando in Rutherford. What's going on, Fernando?
Morning, guys. Happy to be on the show with you today. The guy you're asking for, Gio, is Antonio Pierce. I don't know if I necessarily want him. I love AP, but the guy you're asking for is right there. It's AP, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, I can't say that Antonio Pierce and Mike Vrabel are parallels there, because Mike Vrabel was a head coach of a team that he took to the playoffs like consistently.
And he also was on a playoff coaching staff down in Houston with Bill O'Brien.
So, yes, Antonio Pierce was a part of really good Giants teams. Antonio Pierce had a head coaching job for a little bit. He's an intense defensive guy. All those things line up. But the one big thing is Antonio Pierce is not coveted by every organization out there as a head coach, where Mike Vrabel was. Mike Vrabel could pick where he wanted to go. He wanted to go to New England. They fired a coach after a year to go and get him. So, yeah, there are some similarities there. But when it comes to the coaching resume and what they've been able to do, it's not even close. I mean, he came over as took over as an interim head coach, Antonio Pierce. He ends up getting the job, and then he's gone right after that. What was it? Did he even make it the whole year?
No, I don't remember.
It was. I mean, they ended up keeping him,
right, and then they went and got Pete Carroll.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. So he took a year off. It's so many goddamn coaches that are out there.
Yes, I know.
Josh McDaniels to John Gruden to Antonio Pierce to Rich Bisaccia to Pete Carroll.
The one thing I will say is I just hope that Josh McDaniels just stays where he is and does what he does and doesn't try being a head coach again. I mean, could you see the Giants going after him?
No, I don't think he's going to. No. There's been too many examples of him not being able to be a head coach.
I mean, McDaniels was the one that was replaced by Antonio Pierce in Vegas.
Yeah, right.
And then they gave Pierce 1 year. So it was McDaniels, Pierce is the interim. They gave Pierce 1 year, and then they brought in Pete Carroll.
That's right. Let's go to Chris and Howell. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, Hey, guys, with good coaches being hard to find, how come no one ever mentions Rex Ryan anymore?
Yeah, I think that he's perceived here a lot differently than he is in the rest of the league. He was able to resuscitate the Jets, get them to back-to-back championship games, but the end of the tenure was brutal. Then he went to Buffalo, and it was a disaster. And then Sean McDermott had a ton of success there. And I just think I don't think he's looked at as someone that could come in and give you immediate success. And I also think that it's because the Jets have been so bad after those 2 years where they went to the championship games, he's sort of become more of a legend around here than he should be.
You know, if there were a team out there, and I think I know the team where I'd like to see him, if he really wanted a coach and he could really put together a quality staff and he could be the Rex Ryan that he was with the Jets.
Browns?
No.
Huh. I figured that would have been it. Great defense. I'm not going to come here and kiss everybody's ass in the AFC North.
I could see why that would make sense. I don't know if he'd get along with that owner. I don't know if he'd get along with the GM. I'm not sure. The place where I'd love to see him, and I don't think it would happen, I don't think it would happen, would be the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Pair his intensity, because he is one intense SOB, let me tell you.
You know what? Mark Davis would be the guy who would hire him. You know what I'm saying? If there's an owner out there that would do something like that.
I'd love to see him on the sideline of the Raiders, man.
That might be my new favorite team, Mark Davis and Rex Ryan together. Oh, my God. That would be just pure entertainment in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Anthony in Belleville. What's going on, Anthony?
Right now. Hey,
right now, Anthony. What's going on, brother?
I just heard that Craig Carton is teaming up with Mike Francesca, and it's going to be called Three Strikes You're Out. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony. Yeah, I mean, it is sort of...
See you later.
See, Anthony. Yeah, it is kind of interesting, though, that, C-Mac's always been compared to Mike, and there was Mike's real protege. It was almost like Mike's little radio baby that he had. They
Mike had a radio baby?
Yes, essentially, because he worked on the show for a long time. They kind of look alike. They're both from Long Island. They're big Yankee fans. You know what I'm saying?
That had to hurt.
But so he sounds similar too.
Yeah, he does.
And Mike's always had, C-Mac's back, and it's because he sounded like Mike, he always would say that C-Mac was great because he thought he was listening to himself.
Okay.
But the fact that now looks like C-Mac's working with Craig and Mike's relationship, that's an interesting layer there.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, C-Mac's definitely got more of that entertainment value. He'll Mike wouldn't give you a lot of things that were non-sports. C-Mac could do that a little bit more. But there are times where if you close your eyes on the overnight and he's talking about one specific thing, his cadence is just so similar.
I mean,
I know he hates that,
Craig
but it is.
Did a baseball game with Susan Waltman, for God's sake.
No, I'm not saying.
They can, maybe they'll bring Mike in for a guest spot on Wednesday.
He is an inconsequential, little, jealous little guy who does nothing.
Little guy.
Now, who's that? Who's he speaking about?
That was not me. I remember the stuff he was saying about me. When the short on ability. Who was he talking about with that?
Don't know.
You know.
I don't.
Sure.
It couldn't have been anybody on the radio station.
If C-Mac is a Mike baby, who else here currently on the air is a baby of someone?
Like a dog baby.
Like a dog baby, a Mike baby.
Like Evan's a dog baby, I think.
No.
No.
I think that Tommy's a Craig baby.
Oh, yeah, 100% Craig baby.
Moose was a dog baby,
Moose was 100% a dog baby, yes.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
100%.
JJ dog baby.
Yeah, he was a dog baby. There's a lot. I mean, Sal has both of those things in him, the dog and the Mike baby, but also sprinkled in his own personality for sure. But he loved those guys. You could tell certain things that he would say in certain ways would be like both of those guys. More dog, I guess. Yeah, and I think that's it. Those are the ones.
Those are the offspring.
Were there any Joe Beningo babies?
Not that he knows of. No, I don't think so. Like someone who is just known for straight up complaining about everything and being that miserable all the time about his teams. I don't know.
Is Adam Shine a baby?
Adam Shine a baby.
No, I mean he definitely has. Like I saw an article written about him where he's like they were saying it's a nice like throwback to previous eras of sports with a guy doing the highlights and like being entertaining like it wasn't like the 70s and stuff. If he was a baby, he was just a baby of sports media that, I don't think it was any specific person.
All right, one more. Is Evan Roberts, did he become a partial Craig baby?
That's a very good question. I can't say a partial Craig baby is tough. I mean,
Like if we did a DNA test on Evan, is there some Craig DNA in him currently?
I'll say ultimately no, but when he worked with him, he certainly tried to become part of the family. Like he was like the foster child, and he really wanted to have the same DNA and same blood, but it just was never going to happen while he was trying to assimilate very hard.
But, I think the thing that you got to give Evan is that, he can work with anybody except me. No way.
I couldn't either. I got to be honest with you. There's no way.
Oh.
And then that's no knock on him. It's just we're just
think
so
differently.
different.
That's all. That's
we're
why.
So different.
But that's why, he has been like, think about it. He's with Joe. He's with Craig. With Tiki, and he's been successful at each and every spot.
Yeah.
So that's a credit to him and his talent.
Certainly.
And the guys working with him, putting up with it.
That's true, too.
But, there's one legend who doesn't have anything close to
Steve Summers?
All right.
Yeah. Well, that's a bygone type of thing. Someone writing out the monologues and all of that. I mean, that just, yeah. Is he coming in? When's he coming in?
Oh, next week he'll be in.
Okay. All right, very good. Steve will be coming in. He's got the book. Excited for that. And as we talk WFAN, talking shop.
Yeah.
It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.